Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tingling Tea. Here at the Tingling Tea, we talk about the strange and supernatural, the weird and the wonderful, the creepy and the cryptid, and all that is phenomenally freaky. And tonight, we have a really special show. I'm so very excited. But before we go in and introduce who our guest is this evening, let me bring in my illustrious co hosts. As always, may I also introduce to you the wonderful, the beautiful, the amazing Annabelle Chimpton. Come on in, girl. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm most excellent today. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. And without further ado, let's bring in our other co host. He's amazing. He's a wonderful, and he's astounding when it comes to movie trivia. The one and only Mr. Augie Eddie Ominous Peterson.
Astounding when it comes to movie trivia. I love this. Keep this. This is my favorite intro yet.
Astounding when it comes to, okay, so I have to bring that.
He knows over 30 answers to trivia questions.
You definitely want to be my partner when it comes to the movie category in Trivial Pursuit.
Okay, all right. I've heard that because we're gonna take you up on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's back with us again today, always standing in and bringing in that special energy that only he can bring in. The wonderful, the amazing Mr. Mayhem, Mike Alexander. How are you, pure mayhem?
Look at showing off my elbows today.
Oh,
beautiful.
I saw Annabelle fly in with the wings. I decided to show off my elbows.
Nice. They're so not ashy. Congratulations.
Not ashy. Good.
They look so moisturized.
Yeah.
Definitely for the show.
Butter. Yeah, because all day you've been walking around with some ashy elbows. So,
before the show, you just gotta dip your elbow in some Vaseline oil and you're good to go.
Well, you all, I am really excited to bring in our guests tonight. So I have a very long-standing relationship with this crew. I met them through the Bit and Apple TV, which is my other show that I do, where we go and we visit cons and we talk to people at cons and do interviews and stuff like that. Hashtag the Bit and Apple TV, and they also go check them out on their Facebook, like and subscribe, and comment on some of the content that's there on YouTube and Facebook. But I met this gentleman in particular, and we're waiting for our other guests to come. He's running a little late, but I met this gentleman in particular. We did an event with him in conjunction with the Macabre Film Festival, the Macabre Fair Film Festival. And we just really hit it off. We started traveling together, doing other cons and stuff like that. So I'm going to bring him in. And without further ado, let me introduce to you the voice of radio, the voice of It Came from the Radio, Mr. Mark Torres.
Yay.
Hello.
Woo.
Mark Torres. We can't see you, but you sound real cool, Mark Torres.
Special RIP shout out to Elsie Ginsberg, who is the creator of the Macabre Fair Film Festival, which is coming back this year. You go check on their Facebook page. It's happening in Indianapolis, I believe.
No, Tennessee.
Tennessee. It's somewhere that's not New York.
So let me get this straight. There's New York, and then there's not New York.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, there's Texas and California.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was an amazing film festival, and that's where you get to meet a lot of independent creators that are coming up, that come up with content, horror content that you're probably not used to seeing. You should go on the Bit and Apple TV. We actually have a whole episode where we interviewed that year's winners. But it's an amazing film festival. We're really glad to see it coming back. Sadly, we lost Elsie last year. And so they decided to go ahead and continue with her legacy by putting on the Macabre Fair Film Festival. So we're really
I did read about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mark, tell us a little bit about It Came from the Radio. I mean, a lot of people don't really know about you all.
Well, they should.
Women, they should, but from our audience, they don't. So for somebody who's meeting you all for the first time, tell us a little bit about you.
It Came From the Radio is the official show of the Big Apple Con. We have been on the air, on and off in the air since 2003. Our first episode was when we talked about the movie Daredevil, the original Daredevil movie, and we've been on and off since. We were on a radio station in Long Island, so an actual radio station many years ago, and then as time has moved on, we've moved to Westchester County as 88.1 WARY FM, and we're also on 4 other online radio stations, which is Good Talk Radio, BTD Radio, Indie Volt Radio. Oh crap, I'm missing one. Sorry if I'm missing you. Oh yeah, sci-fi.radio. And then we're also on 40 plus podcast places. So if you Google It Came From Radio, you can find us because we're the only show like it.
Yep, and they are very original at that. I mean, some amazing interviews they've captured. And of course, it's just all, geekdom and fandom and everything. So tell us a little bit about the crew. Now, I only got pictures of you, and I know that you added somebody new, but this is Mark. If you didn't see his face, this is Mark right here. And he's actually pointing to his creation, which we'll go back to that in a few minutes. And then there's Charlie Saladino, who does a lot of the photography and the interviewing and everything.
Senior correspondent Charlie Saladino.
Ooh.
He gets the title. Senior correspondent Charlie Saladino.
Was he promoted?
Yes, he was promoted.
Excellent.
What was he? Was he regular correspondent?
He was just regular Charlie. And one day I was listening to 1010 Wins, and they had Stan Brooks, and he was a senior correspondent. And I was like, hey, I want to have a senior correspondent. I'll make him the senior correspondent. And so I was like, Charlie, you're the senior correspondent from now on.
Yay, senior correspondent.
Well earned.
Amazing.
We understand his promotion now. Thank you.
So you've added some new people to the crew. So tell us a little bit about the new people that you've added to the crew.
So our crew consists of, right now, will be myself, senior correspondent Charlie Saladino, who is pictured right there. We have Pronto Comics, Dominic Sperano. He is the editor-in-chief of Pronto Comics, which is an independent comic book company. That's www.prontocomics.com. They're always at New York Comic Con. They do their best to team up independent creators with other independent creators to make their own book. So it's not like they have their own anthology. They find artists and letterers and writers and say, hey guys, here's some information, get together and make your book, and we'll help you as best as we can. And then our newest addition would be Jen Elise Feldy. That's from thelifewithjenergy.com. She is a actress, writer, producer, health fitness expert, was a Reiki master, a stand-up comedian. She's doing stand-up comedian now. So she's a woman of all trades. She does tons and tons of stuff. And she gets to be the lay person. So despite being in all that, she really doesn't know much about pop culture and movies and TV. So that way she can ask questions that most people wouldn't ask, but the general population would like to know.
Oh, that's actually good. That's a smart idea to have her on there. And then she give her aesthetics about Reiki and all those other kind of spiritual aspects. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Why, thank you.
Oh, I like that. Nice touch. So now I wanted you to talk a little bit about Phaser real quick before we go into you all being on the show this evening. But tell us a little bit about.
All right, so my baby girl.
Numbers.
Okay, so the short version is 100 years ago, I had wanted to be in comics, and I needed a character, and I had made this character called Sunburst when I was in the New York Academy of Comic Book Art and Fantasy Illustration. This was in 1993. I created her. I created a whole bunch of other characters, but she was my favorite. And I would say about 5-6 years later, Red Anvil Comics creator Dave Ryan, he had this insane idea to make a comic book about all the other independent comic books coming together and having a big fight. He's still working on that. I think he's on issue 5 right now, all these years later, but he's still doing it. God bless him. And what he decided, and he said, hey, you have a character. You want to be in my book? And I was like, hell yeah. And so my comic was in his book. And then Mariano Nesesia, who is in charge of Apex Comics Group right now, who is Fabian Nicizia's brother, who co-created the New Warriors. Fabian said, "Hey, I see that your character is in there. You want to do a crossover?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So there's a trading card set out there of all the War of Independence cards, and my book, he and I wrote a comic book together where our characters have the classic meet up, fight, and then we save the day. And that is Sunburst in a nutshell.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's a gorgeous character, by the way. I don't have a picture of her here, but
Is that her in the picture, like that he's pointing to?
That is her, yes.
You can't really see her there. You can't really see how she's drawn, but she is a gorgeous character. So,
if you go to our Facebook page, there's plenty of pictures of her there.
Yeah, go to their Facebook page and you can definitely see that, and we can add their link to their Facebook page in post so that you all can go and check them out. So the reason why they're here this evening is we were doing a show recently together, and I was talking about the Tingling Tea, and they were talking about how much they love horror, and we all love horror. And I was like, it would be great if we did like a little collab this evening and talked about horror in general. Just have a meeting of minds between It Came From the Radio and the Tingling Tea to discuss particular horror things. Now we only have about an hour and a half for this show. So we decided that we were going to do something really special for you this evening. But before we get into that little special thing that we're trying to do this evening, or attempt to do, we are going to actually do a little talk about horror that features on radio.
Ooh.
Now, the thing is that, do you all know of any particular horror movie that actually features a radio? We're not going to say anything. Don't say anything. But let's see if that's mentioned tonight. Now, we can only do like 3 because there's a few of them out there. But because we do have other programming that we want to do this evening, we are going to highlight 3 of those episodes. And Augie has the tea on these 3 episodes. Now, before we get into that, I must make a disclaimer, and I always make this disclaimer. If you do like to listen to this type of content, if this is something that you don't like to listen to when it comes to horror, sci-fi, the supernatural, we ask that you please turn this off or turn this down. And if you have kids watching this evening, please use parental discretion as far as our content. We hope that you can manage that well and make sure that this is mature enough or not as mature as it should be for them, if that makes sense. No, that doesn't make sense. Just if it's too mature.
We got it, Les. We understand.
You know what I mean, right? I'm trying to sound all official and everything. I think my drink is really working right now. So anyway.
What's that, Dave Chappelle? Better not bring your kids.
Yeah, because I don't want to hear about it. I want to be responsible. But anyway, we're going to talk about some films that actually feature or are centered around a radio being the significant character in the movie. So without further ado, Augie, take us away.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'm really looking forward to that second segment that's coming after mine. That should be really interesting for all of us involved. I know we're all really looking forward to it. So.
Yes.
So Mia, hi. I just want to say hi, Mia. You need to stick around because this will be a very interesting show. All right. So this is a very interesting topic. We knew that Mark was going to come and join us tonight. So we wanted to make sure that we had content that was really talked about the radio. And there are some classic and fantastic horror movies that are inspired by, centered around the radio and broadcast. So one of the best ones, and we're going to go in order by date. One of the best ones that came out in horror movies came out in the early 70s. And it was actually Clint Eastwood's directorial debut. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Is it the one that we're looking at the screen right now that says "Play Misty for me"?
Oh my God! I have my freaking screen covered up. So I can't see what you're saying.
I thought it was a rhetorical question.
Oh my God, this is
You
so
know what?
embarrassing.
You know, Augie,
Bring your
just
kids.
because it's covered on your side.
It's not covered for everybody. Damn.
That's
Well-
okay, but we listened anyway. We didn't want to blow the cup.
I love how everybody was like really straight until like Mike called me out. So, so yes, you're correct, Mike. It's Play Misty for me. I don't know how you got that hint. Who knows? But it actually is Play Misty for me. And this was a movie actually about a disc jockey, and his life is turned upside down after a romantic encounter with an obsessed fan. And something very interesting to know about this movie is it was the I know me too. It was the inspiration for Fatal Attraction.
Oh.
Right? So Fatal Attraction was actually based on this movie.
Can I say something though?
Yes, absolutely.
The song "Play Misty" for me is actually a song that was out in the 70s.
It was.
Oh.
Yes, it was a song.
Did they actually play the song in this movie?
Yes, they did.
Yes,
Yes,
they did.
And that's what she would request on the radio was this song.
Yes, and you know why they did? Because Clint Eastwood owns the rights to that song.
Who does?
Clint Eastwood owned the rights to that song, so it ended up being that song in this movie.
So the song is actually called Misty, and then she would always say on the radio, "Play Misty for me." Then when she would call in, the fan would call in and say, "Play Misty for me."
It was before you could tell Alexa to play it.
Before you could tell Alexa to play it, she would call up the radio station one day. Yeah, this is way before your time, Annabelle. About calling up DJs and they're asking for,
when you think about it, we're way more haunted on our devices now because they respond back all the time.
This is true.
Yeah,
It's true.
Exactly. But yes, Misty was
glove. Sorry, I got pulled up.
The other thing that's interesting about this is, do you know who Gene Shepherd is? Has anyone ever heard of Gene Shepherd? No,
Okay.
I'm
No.
hearing nothing.
The actress that's on the screen right now.
No.
Okay.
No.
I thought
Gene
the
Shepherd.
same thing.
What?
But you know what? I said, nope. He's learned from his mistakes.
Gene Shepherd is a famous radio host, and Gene Shepherd is actually the person that do you know A Christmas Story, right?
Yes.
The movie A Christmas Story. He is the person who wrote and narrated A Christmas Story.
Oh.
That's Gene Shepherd.
I had no idea.
Yes, he was a longtime radio host. I mean, he has the most amazing voice, and he actually claims that this movie was based on a real life incident where he was stalked by a female fan, and that incident culminated in her trying to stab him. So he claims that this was the inspiration for this particular movie, which I thought was really interesting.
Wow.
It's all as old as time.
Yeah, but the movie is really good, and I remember when it came out. It was really good. It's a very good movie.
Yeah, the Universal wanted to cast Lee Remick in the lead of this movie, but Clint Eastwood actually saw the actress Jessica Walter in another movie and cast her instead. So this could have been a very different movie. Also, Steve McQueen was supposed to play the lead in this movie, not Clint Eastwood back when it was under development. That would have been a completely different movie. So anyway, Play Misty for me, fantastic movie, well worth the watch. And
I love that jacket.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah,
I love that sweater.
look at that knit.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you something about this if you don't see the movie. So this is Clint Eastwood's, this is his housemaid, this lady that cleans his house in the movie. And there's a scene between her and this woman in the movie that is just unbelievable. Her and the fan, when she comes across the fan. So I highly recommend this movie.
Oof, it's a great movie. The next movie that we're going to talk about is comes in 1980, and I'm going to tell you the name of it because I'm not going to get caught in that trap again.
I was gonna wait. Go ahead, do your spiel.
Yeah, give us the teaser.
All right, this is what we actually talked about one time before, and it's a John Carpenter movie.
Ooh.
And he actually cast his wife Adrienne Barbeau. I always mispronounce that name. As the lead character, and it's his wife's debut in a feature film. We talked about it before. Does anyone know what it could be?
I know, but I ain't gonna say nothing because I always know.
It's a weather event.
So there's only one John Carpenter movie ever, and that's The Thing.
No,
But I don't think it's The Thing. So
They Live.
the thing is not. No.
Is it
No,
The Thing
saying
Part
that's
Two?
also.
No, you all come
All
on.
right.
Is it The
No.
Thing meets weather, like Thing 3?
There was a remake of this. There was a remake of this
A
in
terrible remake of this.
It was awful. There was a remake of this. I think it was in 2005.
It had something to do with weather. You're saying? Is
Yes.
it Twister?
Oh,
Yes, it's Twister because Twister has to do with the radio.
With the
No,
flying
it's not
cow.
Twister. It's the fog. I know who pays attention now. Don't worry. So anyway, the fog. It's about an unearthly fog rolls into a small coastal town exactly 100 years after a ship mysteriously sank in its waters. And this is a cool movie because it's John Carpenter directing, starring Adrienne Barbeau, Jamie Lee Curtis, Janet Leigh, Jamie Lee Curtis's mom, Hal Holbrook, all in this movie. Amazing, amazing cinematography, and let's see. So about this movie,
It's not related to its cousin, The Mist, is it?
no.
No, it's not.
Okay,
But it
just
might
wanna
be
ask.
played. They might both be played on the Weather Channel. You never know.
You never know these days.
So one of the characters named Tom Atkins in this movie is actually named after the original actor who played Michael Myers, the Shape, in John Carpenter's Halloween. So I thought that was an interesting.
Oh yeah,
little tidbit.
that's the other like small indie series he did.
Yeah, totally. I think that did pretty good. I don't know. I forget.
It was just okay.
You know what's really important here is her shirt. Like that's an amazing shirt. I can rock that shirt, and then the mic placement as well. Like I gotta change some things. This movie is inspiring me.
Right.
To do
I gotta
better.
move my mic like
this. I gotta work
like
on this.
and then have my
Don't
my lips.
Why you gotta make it that way? Why you gotta make it that way?
You're so dirty, Les. You're so dirty. This is why little children can't watch our show.
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay.
All right. So, yes, she has a lovely. She's actually really beautiful. She's she's a drop dead gorgeous woman, and her voice is amazing. All right, so let's move on to the next one because I know everybody wants to hear.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good one. That's Hal Holbrook right there.
Yes, this movie is really good, you all. I highly recommend this movie. It's one of my favorites.
It is so good, and there's very little gore and blood in this movie, but it is creepy, well worth seeing.
Yeah.
Except don't see the remake. See the original.
The original.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the remake is kind of like, huh? That's how the end of the movie. You're like, what? What just happened? But this one was truly creepy. So that came out in 1980. Now the next one, oh, look at that photo. The next one and final movie that we're going to talk about is a movie that came out in 1984 about a comet that wipes out most of life on Earth, leaving two valley girls fighting against cannibal zombies and a sinister group of scientists.
I know this one.
Me too.
You know this one. Annabelle, what
it.
could it be?
I watched this one with Augie and Les for the first time.
You did actually.
Some months ago. Yeah. It's Night of the Comet.
It is
Teenagers rule the world.
Exactly. Night of the Comet. Night of the Comet has one of the most amazing scenes to take place in a DJ recording studio.
So iconic.
And she broadcasts out to this world, not knowing if anybody is like living and hearing her voice. It was just unbelievable. And that's how people start finding each other, is actually through the through the radio in this particular movie. Now, this is a
just so that you can know, people used to call the radio station and ask for requests for songs. So that there, it did have its purpose. I don't know if you could do that to Siri or to your Amazon right now. Right?
Alexa.
I don't think you could do that now.
I mean, you can ask for songs.
yeah, but you need to call her up using a rotary phone.
Yeah,
I don't think she takes rotary phone calls.
She doesn't take for a rotary phone call.
Ooh.
The other thing that we used to do with radio was like call up and request a song and then record the song by holding up our tape, our blank tape, audio tape, and holding it to the speaker and recording the song that way.
I think you're missing a step in that process. You don't hold the tape, you hold the recorder to record it.
People are very, very cynical on this show. This show tonight.
Because in my mind, the kids who are listening to this, they're like, "Wait, you hold up the tape and you just put it there? That's pretty darn fancy."
Right. Those children that should not be listening to the show, you must know that we actually put it in a tape recorder and then put the recorder up. You have to press record, and then it plays.
Well, actually, you had to press record and play at the same time.
Is that like the TikTok button?
Oh, no.
It's not found on the iPod.
Oh God!
Oh my God! I love this movie so much.
Best movie.
These outfits the whole time, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Totally. Kelly Maroney, who's wearing the cheerleader outfit, actually still has a cheerleader outfit. She stole it and kept it for herself. So she actually, and I mentioned this earlier, but she says when she's at the radio station, when this is Kelly Maroney, the one on the left is at the radio station. Oh, there she is. She is does the disc jockey thing, and she says she's taking requests from all you Teenage Mutant Comet Zombies. And Teenage Mutant Comet Zombies was the title of this movie before they decided to retitle it Night of the Comet.
I'm glad they retitled it.
Yeah, why?
I mean, I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Zombies, but
Comet
Zombies.
It would have had some competition. I forget which one came first, but I'm pretty sure the Turtles were around by now.
Ooh, it's a biker.
1984.
Or is that a police?
That's a police officer. This is such a good movie. You want to talk about some kitschy horror comedy. This movie has it all. An 80s feel. This movie has it all.
Let me tell you about this zombie. This police officer.
Look at this zombie.
Let me tell you about the picture before this zombie.
What a zombie.
That zombie.
Can we go back to the other zombie?
No. The two police officers who were playing these zombies were actually real police officers that were location cops working to stop traffic, and they were asked if they wanted to be in the movie, and so they made them up and created the police officer zombies. How cool is that?
I'm so jealous. I've always wanted to get made up as a zombie.
Totally. Me too. All you have to do is become a location police officer, and it can happen to you.
No thanks.
But I did want to mention this is Robert Beltran, and if you are a fan of the Star Trek,
Chakotay.
Yes, Chakotay from Robert Beltran, and also from a little known movie that a lot of people don't know called Eating Raoul, which I highly recommend, an independent film. But that was the start of his film career, was Eating Raoul. But he does play in this. This might be one of his second or third film that he did. And he went on to become a legend in Star Trek, Voyager.
Amazing. He actually almost didn't take this role because he thought it was he didn't want to be a stereotype. So he, I don't know, Latino stereotype of the time. So he wanted to make sure that he didn't portray any of the regular stereotypes at that time. An interesting tidbit about this movie, this was a big influence for the original script of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Ooh.
Wow, I can see that.
You can see that, right?
I believe it.
Yeah, totally.
Buffy did
And-
Friends, though. That'd have been amazing if she did.
If you think of the 90s Buffy movie that is not really canon to the show, she kind of looks like her in the cheerleading outfit here.
Yeah, she
Very
does.
similar character.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. All right. So, and that is our 3 movies that are inspired by the radio. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey. Good. All right. So you
Is that
all,
Mark? I can't tell.
There's a delay. It was me.
that
Oh, it was you.
Okay. So you all tonight.
I can't see Mark, so I don't know what he's saying. I'm sorry, Les. What do you say?
Yeah, the original,
I'll be quiet.
Yeah, the original Buffy. Yes, definitely looks like the original Buffy.
Totally.
So tonight we're going to attempt to do something. This is really hilarious. So we are all fans of classic horror vintage radio, and we decided tonight that we're going to try to attempt to recreate.
I like that. Try to attempt to recreate. We're not even going to try or attempt. We're going to try to attempt.
We're going to try to attempt.
Lower that bar.
Maybe
We're
try
going
to
to-
attempt to try.
Try.
You guys
Lower
out.
that bar. Lower those expectations right now.
Look, I
Come
wonder,
on.
like, before they're going to come across this and be like, what the hell is
We're never
this?
going to win an Emmy with you guys. Come on.
There's no Emmy for positivity.
So tonight, you all, we are going to attempt
To try.
Bram Stoker's Dracula. And not only Bram Stoker's Dracula, but Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula tonight. We're going to attempt to do this.
Yeah, this is.
Thank you for reminding us of the Matrix. Yes.
And just to lower everybody's expectation more, we were cast like right before we came on the air. So we
I'm ready.
none of us have even read this script.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
What do you mean? I've been training for this moment my whole life.
Oh my god.
It's
So-
me,
All right, so-
Dracula.
Dracula. All right. So,
Look at my wings.
all right. So let me just introduce our cast to you this evening for tonight's show. Playing as Dracula, memorably done by Gary Oldman in the Francis Ford Coppola version. Tonight, we have the one and only and the amazing Augie, Eddie Peterson, playing Dracula this evening.
Did you really have to say that he was played by Gary Oldman? when you said that?
Lower that bar. Lower that bar. Lower it. Just lower it down.
Lower that bar. Lower that bar. Lower that bar.
You came for Gary Oldman. This ain't for you.
It was actually last played by Craig at the community theater.
Oh, great.
Lower that bar.
All right, wait. And then a better version than Winona Ryder tonight. We have the beautiful and wonderful Annabelle Chimpton playing Mina Murray or Elizabeth. Okay. And with us tonight, doing his best, Anthony Hopkins,
Oscar winner.
Oscar winner Anthony
Doing
Hopkins.
his very best.
We are having Mike Mayhem, playing Abraham Van Helsing.
My manager just recently spoke to the company. We're gonna call it Black Van Helsing for now. Thank you very much.
Can we call him elbows? Can we just call him elbows?
Yes. Van Helsing elbows. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Mia. And I am going to be doing all other cast members tonight.
She's Marianne and the professor. She's the rest.
Not the rest. I'm in for the rest.
You're on
And I'm
Gilligan's
also-
Island.
I'm also attempting to do sound effects.
Yes.
Wait, you're gonna do like Michael Winslow stuff?
That's what I heard.
That's gonna be awesome. All right.
That'd be amazing.
But trying to do sound effects, trying to do sound effects in the middle of time at the same time is going to be freaking hilarious.
Just say
We're
what
definitely
you should
getting
do is
this
this is the sound of a door opening. This is the sound of the door closing. This is the window opening. Those are your sound effects. That's it right there.
So, ladies and gentlemen, all I'm going to say is this is going to be drunk Dracula tonight. So, We're gonna
You're
we're
right.
gonna have Mark. Mark is gonna do he's going to be our narrator this evening. So
Just tell me when.
Then we're gonna start this off. So let me start off with a sound effect.
Go
How
now.
about
Now. Go now. Go now.
all right, here
Yeah, we're getting wild in here tonight. Yeah.
What kind of sound effect is this? Is this like a cartoon?
okay, go ahead.
I am vampire Dracula. Sorry, please go ahead.
Here you go.
And you know.
The year.
Scene.
The year 1462 AD. Constantinople has fallen. Muslim Turks swooped into Europe with a vast, superior force, striking at Romania, threatening all of Christendom. Christendom? From Transylvania rose a Romanian knight of the Sacred Order of the Dragon known as Dracula. On the eve of the battle, his bride, Elizabeth, whom he prized above all things on earth, knew he must face the insurmountable force of which he may never return.
God be praised! I am victorious! Elisabetta.
The vengeful Turk shot an arrow into the castle carrying the false news of Dracula's death. Elizabeth, believing him dead, flung herself into the river.
Oh, river.
River? Alright. Wait, am I supposed to read this note here?
Yes, read the river. Read the note.
I think she just flushed the toilet.
Dracula returns to the castle. Elizabeth lies dead on the chapel floor. Suicide note from Elizabeth.
That's you.
My prince is dead. All is lost without him. May God unite us in heaven.
She has taken her own life. Her soul cannot be saved. She is damned. It is God's law.
No. Is this my reward for defending God's church?
Sacrilege!
I renounce God. I shall rise from my own death to avenge hers with all the powers of darkness.
Dracula stabs at the altar cross with his sword. Blood pours from the cross, from the eyes of statues, from the candle flames. Dracula fills a chalice with blood and drinks it.
The blood is the life, and it shall be mine.
Blood covers the chapel floor. Scene 2. 1897 AD, 4 centuries later, in England, London, late evening. Carfax District Lunatic Asylum, Renfield cell.
Gone mad. Renfield is deranged. He's lost his greedy mind, poor chap. I want you to take over his foreign client, this rather eccentric Count Dracula. He's buying up property around London. Of course, sir. I will tend to the Count. Thank you for your confidence. This is a great opportunity for you, Harker, but you will have to leave for Transylvania immediately. Opportunities such as this come but once in a lifetime. Of course, sir. I will tend to the account. Is that right? If I may inquire, what in fact happened to Mr. Renfield in Transylvania? Nothing. Personal problems. Close these transactions and your future with his firm is assured. Yes, sir. I will give it my full attention.
Ooh.
Kent, the next morning. The garden at Hillingham Estate, Farsham, Kent. Harker speaks with his fiancée, Mina Murray.
We've waited this long, haven't we?
We can be married when I return.
Of course.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
All right.
Jonathan, I love you.
And I love you, Mina.
They kiss goodbye. Act 3. Several days later, Transylvania, midday on a train. Harker writes in his journal.
Oh, wait. Letter from the Count Dracula to Jonathan Harker, my friend. Oh.
Wait, what? You skipped the whole chunk.
Think of it. Jonathan Harker's journal, 25th May, Budapest. Left Budapest early this morning. The impression I had was that we were leaving the west and entering the east. The district I am to enter is the extreme east of the country, just on the borders of the 3 states Transylvania, Moldavia, and Bukovina. In the midst of the Carpathian Mountains, one of the wildest and least known portions of Europe.
He opens and reads the letter.
My friend, welcome to the Carpathians. I am anxiously awaiting you. At the Borgo Pass, my carriage will await you and bring you to me. I trust your journey from London has been a happy one and that you will enjoy your stay in my beautiful land. Your friend, Big D. Mina Murray's diary.
It's me, Dracula Big D. Sorry, off script. Go back.
Who's reading the diary?
It's Mina.
Mina,
Oh, that is me?
yes, Mina, read the diary, my dear Jonathan.
Okay. My diary, the 25th of May. My dear Jonathan My dear Jonathan has been gone almost a week, and although I was disappointed, we gotta hide him off the screen.
I'm sorry.
I can't see what's going on.
My dear Jonathan has been gone almost a week, and although I was disappointed we could not marry before his departure, I'm happy that he got sent on this important assignment. I'm longing to hear all the news. It must be so nice to see strange countries. I wonder if Jonathan and I, will ever see them together.
Nightfall, Borgo Pass. Jonathan Harker disembarks from a coach.
We are early, driver. No one is here.
Fellow passenger hands Harker a crucifix.
Goodbye.
For the dead traveled
Oh, the
fast.
red traveled fast.
That's really fast. There's 2 of them. The passenger coach speeds away as Dracula's coach approaches. The coach driver bids Harker to enter and sit down. The coach speeds away, followed by wolves.
Okay, 1 second.
Oh,
Ooh, it's a good one.
I say, is the castle far?
no answer. Oh wait, that's me. The coach speeds up a number grade towards Dracula's castle. It passes through a circle of blue fire. Harker disembarks in the courtyard. As Harker approaches the castle doors, they swing open. An old man bearing a lantern enters the chamber.
Welcome to my home. Enter freely at your own will and leave some of the happiness you bring.
Count Dracula?
I am Dracula, and I bid you welcome, Mr. Harker, to my house. Come in.
Harker steps over the threshold. Dracula leads him into the dining room.
You will, I trust, excuse me that I do not join you, but I have already dined, and I never drink wine.
Harker begins to eat. He motions towards a portrait on the wall.
An ancestor? I see a resemblance.
The Order of the Dracul, the dragon. An ancient society pledging my forefathers to defend the church against all enemies of Christ. That relationship was not entirely successful.
Oh yes.
Dracula angrily grabs the sword, swings it overhead, and points the tip at Harker.
It is no laughing matter. We Draculs have a right to be proud. What devil or witch ever was so great as Attila, whose blood flows in the veins? Blood is so precious a thing in these times. Excuse me. The warlike days are over. The victories of my grace, My great race are but a tale to be told. I am the last of my kind.
I have offended you with my ignorance, Count. Forgive me.
Later, the library at Dracula Castle, Dracula affixes his seal to the deed of purchase.
I do so long to go through the crowded streets of your mighty London, to be in the midst of the whirl and the rush of the humanity, to share its life, its changes, its death.
Harker affixes his signature to the deed.
You may rely on me, Count. You are now the Count owner
What?
of Complex Abbey in Perfeet. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm now lost. So, okay, there we are. Okay. Excuse me.
Time
Your firm writes most highly of your talents. They say you are a man of good taste and that you are a worthy substitute for your predecessor, Mr. Renfield.
You may rely on me, Count. Forgive my curiosity, but why 10 houses in such precise locations around London? It is to raise the market value.
Dracula picks up Harker's photograph of Mina.
Do you believe in destiny? That even the powers of time can be ordered to a single purpose? The luckiest man who walks on the earth is the one who finds true love.
You mean you found my Mina? I thought she was lost. We're to be married as soon as I return. Are you married, Count?
No answer.
Sir, are you married?
I was married once. Ages ago, it seems. She died.
Oh. I'm so sorry.
She was fortunate. My life, at its best, is a mystery. She will no doubt be a devoted wife, and you a faithful husband. Come right now, my friends, to your firm and to any loved ones, and say that it should please you to stay with me until a month from now. Oh, Lord. Harker, I believe it is your line, Harker.
I did, but a month want me to stay so long?
I will take no refusal.
End scene, whatever chapter we're on. 5 days later, England, Kent.
Oh my God, how
morning.
long is this?
The parlor at Allingham Estate. Mina types her diary.
This is a 5-hour radio show. My diary, 30th of May. I know that Jonathan does not want me to stay here with Lucy while he is away. I think that if I became accustomed to the wealth and privileges of the Westenra family, I will not be content as the wife of a mere clerk in a law firm. I will not be content as the wife of a mere clerk in a law firm. But Lucy and I have been friends since we were children, and she's never minded that I'm only a school mistress.
She sneaks a peek at a drawing from Arabian Nights.
How disgustingly awful.
Enter Lucy Westenra.
Mina.
You're always wrecking. Is your ambitious John Harker forcing you to learn that ridiculous machine that he could be forcing you to perform unspeakable acts of desperate passion on the parlor floor?
Lucy, really? You shouldn't talk about my fiancé in such a way. There's more to marriage than carnal pleasures.
Mina stands up, knocking the book on the floor.
Oh, Mina, so I see much, much more. Oh.
Mina and Lucy page to her book.
What? What is it, Lucy? I certainly don't understand it. Can a woman and a woman really do that?
I can't.
I did only last night.
Fibber, you did not.
Yes, I did. Well, in my dreams. Jonathan measures up, doesn't he? You can tie loose.
Lucy, we've kissed. That's all. He thinks he's too poor to marry me, and it's all the worse now that I'm here visiting you at Hillingham, my rich friend.
Yes, but not even one marriage proposal? Here I am, almost 20, practically a hag.
Early that evening, Lucy and Mina watch party guests arrive.
Mr. Quincy P. Morris.
Enter Quincy P. Morris.
What is that?
You whore!
Look!
Oh.
What is that?
What is that?
What is that, Lucy?
Jackson Quincy P. Morris. He's so young and fresh, like a wild stallion between my legs.
You're positively indecent.
You whore!
I don't know what men desire. What?
Lucy approaches Morris.
Quincy, darling. Miss Lucy, why, you're fresh as a spring rain. Oh, thank you.
She runs her hands over Morris.
Oh, Quincy, please let me touch it. It's so big.
Lucy winks at Mina and pulls out Morris's Bowie knife.
Little girl, oh, my dear sweet little girl, I hold your hand and you kiss me.
Dr. Jack Seward.
John!
Enter. All right, fine. We'll just skip
Sorry,
that.
go ahead.
If Les wants the line, Les gets the line.
Enter Dr. Jack Seward. Lucy runs to Seward.
Jack, oceans of love.
Seward trips over a bearskin rug.
Oh, Jack, my darling. Oh, poor little baby. Come over here, and I'll kiss it better. My poor little blossom, my poor little doctor. Really, doctor, what a naughty bear. Let me feel.
Arthur Homewood, Esquire.
Enter Lord Arthur Holmwood. Lucy runs to Holmwood.
Arthur, oh, my darling, you look wonderful. Like my dress? It's my snake dress.
Seward and Morris greet each other and sit side by side on a couch.
I'm a snake.
Quincy.
Jack,
Stewart stands up and hands Morris his squashed hat.
So sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Mayhem. Go ahead. Take over.
Diary. Lucy is a pure and virtuous girl, but I admit that her free way of speaking shocks me sometimes. Jonathan says it's a defect of the aristocracy, that they say what they please. The truth is that I admire Lucy, and I'm not surprised that men flock around her. I wish I were as pretty and adored as she.
Enter Dracula's shadow. London later that evening. Carfax District. Lunatic Asylum. Dr. Stewart's diary on a photograph cylinder. 30th of May.
What manner of man is this? R.N. Monfield, successful solicitor in the firm of Hawkins and Tompkins, respected member of the Lord Nugent Swindon Club, returns from business abroad in Transylvania, promptly suffers a complete mental breakdown. He's now obsessed with some bloodlust.
Seward enters Renfield's cell.
George, wait here.
Renfield holds out a plate full of grub, flies, ants, beetles, and wire worms.
Would you care for an hors d'oeuvre, Dr. Seward? Or knep? Eh?
No, thank you, Brenda. How are you feeling tonight?
Far better than you, my lovesick doctor.
It's my personal life of interest to you.
Of course it is. All life interests me.
Your diet, Mr. Renfield, it's disgusting.
Actually, Hakuna Matata, they're pretty nutritious. You see, each life that I ingest gives life to me.
The flies give you life?
Certainly.
Renfield turns away from Seward.
But you might as well ask a man to eat a molecule with a pair of chopsticks than to interest me in lesser carnivore.
I shall have to invent a new classification of the lunatic for you. What about spiders? Spiders eat the flies?
Yes, spiders eat them.
What about sparrows?
Oh, yes. Did you say sparrows?
Something larger, perhaps?
Oh, yes. A kitten. I beg you. A little sleek, a playful kitten. Something I can teach. Something I can free. No one will refuse me a kitten.
Wouldn't you prefer a cat?
Oh, yes. A big cat. My salvation depends upon it.
Your salvation.
I need lives. I need lives for the master.
What master?
The master will come and he has promised to make me immortal.
How?
Renfield suddenly attacks Dr. Seward. Guards rush in to subdue Renfield.
The blood. The blood is the life.
Next chapter. Meanwhile, Transylvania, Castle Dracula, Harker's bedchamber.
Hold on.
Harker says, hold on.
I didn't hear you come in.
Take care how you cut yourself. It is more dangerous than you think.
Dracula breaks the mirror.
A foul bauble of a man's vanity. Perhaps you should grow a beard.
Dracula takes the razor, turns and licks off the blood.
The letters I requested. Have you finished them?
Harker hands Dracula 3. Count them, 3 letters.
Good.
Dracula shaves Harker.
Should you leave these rooms, you will not by any chance go to sleep in any other part of the castle. It is old and has as many bad memories. Be warned.
I'm sure. I understand.
Dracula sees a crucifix around Harker's neck. He snarls and pushes Harker away.
Do not put your faith in such trinkets of deceit. We are in Transylvania, and Transylvania is not England. Our ways are not your ways. And to you, there shall be many strange things.
I've seen many strange things already. Bloody wolves chasing me through some blue inferno.
Harker peers out the window to see wolves in the courtyard. Wolf howl. Ow!
Listen to them, the children of the night. What sweet music they make.
Different versions of the same enemy? Yeah. Well, let's see. We have Red Wolf.
Whoa. Wrong wolf, wrong wolf, wrong wolf.
Savior of the universe.
Go, Flash, go! Go, Flash, go!
I think that's the cat. That's the cat one.
Okay. Here's the wolf howl. Here's the wolf howl, Dracula.
Listen to them, the children of the night. What sweet music they make.
Music? Those animals?
Exit Dracula and Flash. Exit Dracula's shadow. Harker peers outside the window to see Dracula crawling like a reptile up the castle wall.
And he doesn't scream. I did as Dracula instructed. I wrote 3 letters to the firm, to my family, and to my beloved Nina. I said nothing of my fears, as he will read them, no doubt. I know now that I am a prisoner.
Later that night, Harker wanders the castle. He finds an unused bedchamber. The vampiress says something.
Jonathan! Jonathan! Come to me.
Yeah, vampires.
Come, lay down. Lay back into my arms. Lay back, Jonathan.
3 vampiresses seduce Harker, and they bite and suck him. Enter Dracula.
How dare you touch him? He belongs to me.
You yourself never loved.
Yes, I too can love. And I shall love again.
Are we to have nothing tonight, master?
His name is Big D.
The Big D gives the
Are we to
vampiresses a human
nothing
baby.
tonight, Big D?
Dracula gives the vampire a human baby.
Harker says,
No.
No.
Several days later, in the crypt of Castle Dracula, Harker watches gypsies loading boxes of earth onto wagons. Jonathan Harker's journal.
The letters I've written have undoubtedly sealed my doom. The Count Gypsies, fearlessly warriors who are loyal to the death to whatever nobleman they serve day and night. They toil filing boxes with decrepit earth from the bowels of this castle. They are to be delivered to the newly acquired Carfax Abbey in London. Why do they fill these boxes with earth?
End scene. Next chapter. Weeks later, England, Kent, the garden of Hillingham Estate. Mina reads a letter. So this is Jonathan Harker reading. So Jonathan Harker reads.
Oh, Jonathan Harker reads? Okay, Jonathan Harker reads. Dear Mina, all is well here. The Count has insisted I remain for a month to tutor him in English customs. I can say no more except I love you. Ever faithful, Jonathan.
Enter Lucy.
I love him. I love him. Oh, Mina, it's so wonderful. I've decided I love him and I've said yes.
Finally, don't tell me. The Texan with the big knife.
Oh, no, to my dear number 3, Arthur Homewood, Lord Arthur Homewood, Lord and Lady Homewood. Would you want to be my maid of honor? Say yes.
No answer.
Mina, what is it? This is the most exciting day of my life. You don't seem to care.
It's just that I'm so terribly worried about Jonathan. This letter I received is so cold. It's so unnatural. It's not like him at all.
Oh, Mina, don't worry.
Suddenly, a rainstorm hits.
Take it away, Mayhem.
Captain's log. The Demeter. 27th June. We picked up 50 boxes of experimental earth bound for London, England. Set sail at noon into a storm that seemed to come out of nowhere, carrying us out to sea. Captain's log. The Demeter. 3rd of July. Second mate is gone. Missing. Near in Gibraltar. Storm continues. Crew uneasy. Believe someone or something is aboard the ship with us.
London, Carfax District, Lunatic Asylum. A storm rages over London. The patients are in a frenzy. Dr. Seward, in his office, is dictating.
The master of life is at hand. Gather round. I'm here for your bidding, master. I have worshipped you long and far off. Now that you are near, master, I am your slave. I await your command.
The case of Renfield grows more interesting, yet there is method in his madness with his flies and spiders. Had I the secret of even one such brilliant mind, the key to the fantasy of one lunatic.
He injects himself with morphine.
Lucy! Lucy!
The Demeter approaches land. A wolf jumps to the shore and runs down the street. Kent, later that night. Hillingham Estate. Lucy sleepwalks out of her bedroom door into the garden. Mina attempts to follow her into the garden maze.
Lucy, 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 Lucy.
Mina finds Lucy lying on a beach near the family burial vault, being raped and bitten by Dracula in wolfman form. Dracula sees Mina.
No, do not see me.
Mina runs to Lucy.
Lucy, 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 Lucy.
I can't control myself.
Lucy, you're dreaming. It's me. You're walking in your sleep again.
My soul seemed to leave my body. There was this agonizing feeling, and when it came back to me, I saw you shaking me.
You're all right, Lucy.
I had to. It sort of pulled me and lured me, and I had no control. That's what they all say. I don't have eyes. I still have the taste of his blood in my mouth. Sure that's not real?
London, morning, Carfax Abbey. Large crates are delivered to the Abbey. Renfield peers out of the window of Carfax Asylum.
Master, I am here to do your bidding. Master, I am here. I have worshipped you.
Contrary to some beliefs, the vampire, like any other night creature, can only move about the day, though it is not like his natural time, and his powers are weak. A young-looking Dracula rises from the box of earth. Headlines from various newspapers. Dated July 7th, 1897. The Pall Mall Gazette. The Pall Mall Gazette. Wolf escapes from the zoo. The Times. Strangest storm on record. The Standard. Mystery schooner. Crew missing. Evening at 8. I hope that comes out on time. In the streets of London, Dracula walks along the sidewalk.
Or there's a crier.
Oh, crier. Seeing the amazing cinematograph. A wonder of modern civilization. The amazing sensation. Enter Mina. Dracula sees Mina enter a pharmacist's shop.
See me now.
Newshawker. Escaped wolf from zoo still at large. Paper, sir? Dracula buys the paper. Why, thank you, sir. Mina exits the pharmacy. Dracula bumps into Mina.
My humblest apologies. Forgive my ignorance. I have recently arrived from abroad and I do not know your city. It is a beautiful lady.
You may purchase a street atlas for 6 pence. Good day.
Mina turns away.
I've offended you. I'm only looking for the cinematograph.
Yeah, that guy.
Cinematograph. I understand it is a wonder of the civilized world.
If you seek culture, then visit a museum. London is filled with them. Excuse me.
Mina walks away. She rounds the corner, and there stands Dracula.
A woman so lovely and intelligent should not be walking the streets of London without her gentleman.
Do I know you, sir? Are you acquaintanced with my husband? Shall I call the police?
Husband? I shall bother you no more.
Dracula turns away.
Sir, it is I who have been rude. If you are looking...
Please permit me to introduce myself. I am Prince Vlad of Slakali.
Big D.
I am Prince Big D.
Big D, the prince, you say?
I am your servant.
Wilhelmina Murray, at your service, Big D.
I am honored, Madam Mina.
This way.
Kent, meanwhile, the foyer at Hillingham Estate. The butler admits Dr. Seward.
I'm the butler.
Dr. Seward, Miss Lucy.
How long is this? I'm just curious.
We're almost 30% done.
Oh my God.
Let's go to the next chapter.
Are we going to have enough time?
Yeah, no, we're not. Let's go to the next chapter and end it.
Wait, okay.
Yeah, let's get it steamy real quick so we can wrap this thing up.
Oh my
Go
god.
ahead. Okay, come on.
All right, butler.
Hello, Mr. Homewood asked me to stop by to see Miss Lucy.
You know, I actually went to the next chapter. I am not ready. Yes, sir.
Butler leads the Seward. Butler leads Seward into parlor, where Lucy is being fitted into her wedding gown.
Dr. Seward, Miss Lucy.
Thank you. Oh, Jack, brilliant Jack, do you like it?
She twirls around in the dress.
Did Arthur put you up to this, or did you want to be alone just one more time before I married?
Miss Lucy, you are embarrassing me. I am here as your doctor. Your fiance is very worried about you, and I assure you, a doctor's confidence is sacred. I must have your complete trust.
Help me, Jack. I don't know what's happening to me. I'm changing. I can feel it. I can hear everything. I hear the servants at the other end of the house whispering. I hear mice in the attic stomping like elephants. But I'm having a horrible nightmares, Jack. The eyes. Oh, Jack.
There. I am here, Lucy. Nothing will harm you.
Seward injects Lucy with morphine.
Ow.
Let it work. This sounds horrible. Let it work, Lucy. Let it work.
Ow. Ow.
Seward gives Lucy a peck on the lips. Outside, Morris and Homewood ride up on horseback.
That is
Go
a
ahead,
good place to
Morris.
stop, don't you think?
I think so.
And then they all died.
Except Dracula.
We have to finish this and actually have it be a little bit more structured and hilarious.
A little bit.
What do you mean? I've been rehearsing for days.
It's too dang hard to read and do sound effects in the background. I was messing this all up. So
You're every character. You're every character.
Yeah,
yes,
sometimes
yes.
Les was like, I'm going to take this line even though I haven't been reading this character.
She's like, I am taking this train forward no matter what.
Who do I
But
speak
before
to?
before we go on, let's bring in Charlie because he did come in. So let's say hi to Charlie.
Really? Because I was just going to read a text saying that he was
Hey, Charlie.
I don't know what the hell was happening. It was like Big D meets Star Trek. What the heck was going on? I was listening to
It was all
Michael.
about Big D,
What?
man.
Yeah.
We had to
Big
modernize Dracula just a little bit.
Wow.
senior correspondent Charlie Saladino. How are you?
Good. I'm good. That was great, guys. Just
Thank you.
that was great.
We're going to have you come back and you're going to be reading a character next time. We're going to finish it. We're going to finish Dracula from that segment on and go ahead to the end. So we'll do that.
All right, so the announcer has to say, tune in next time for part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Who do I have to speak to? Because I need to get paid for the day. My character wasn't in there. Van Helsing, Black Van Helsing didn't
That's
make
right.
didn't make a cameo.
You can do Black Van Helsing next time we do this.
You got cast in the role and wasn't even there.
Yeah.
I was everybody else. And I got picked.
Great.
But it
reading
sounded
as-
so cool.
as the narrator, great reading the narrator.
Yes,
The
thank you.
Characters were just really great and rich, you all. So we definitely have to recreate this. This was
Oh, God.
hilarious. This is hilarious.
This was the best. Listen, I would box this, send it out, sell it. Really.
Not even my mom would listen to this stuff. Are you kidding me?
She will now.
Yeah. I especially love Lucy.
If you could
And
have
then
seen the
Mike,
script,
I was
it was like,
expecting Mike to say, "Who the hell is Lucy?" You know? Oh my God!
My favorite part was when Flash Gordon showed up.
Oh my God!
Let me tell you the sound effects key that I have, the board that I have. It when you put in certain sounds that you want to have, and I think now I'm going to structure it so that we can do the sounds, during each segment. But if I pressed on something, if I was like writing, like I wanted a howl or I wanted a wolf howl or whatever, it didn't always come up that way. So I'm pushing buttons thinking that it was supposed to be, a wolf howl. So I put that in there, a wolf howl, and Flash Gordon came up.
He saved every one of us.
Because I was able to tell the story.
Oh my God!
Well,
That
Charlie,
was great. That was great.
Thank you. Thank
I love
you.
that. I'm back. I'm backstage there laughing, and I'm saying, "Oh, they gotta film this and put it out there." Oh God!
We're gonna recreate this. Obviously, I think that this is going to be an ongoing thing where we read horror on the radio and actually do the sound effects and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and just see. We call it drunk horror because a lot of us, We're
Totally.
drinking special tea tonight, so trying to recreate it. But this was hilarious. Some of the sounds that I was coming up with, like some of the stuff that just came to me, but it was so hard to put it in there while I was trying to read it at the same time. So we're gonna.
This was so good. Gary Oldman has retired from acting.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. He's
So,
just
Wait, didn't he die?
Just before we go off the air, let's just give Charlie like a moment to kind of tell us a little bit about himself and being a part of It Came From the Radio. And Charlie, fortunately for him, because he's working, but he had to work this evening. So hopefully next time when we're back on the show, Charlie can come in and lend you the cast. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Charlie, for our audience.
Yes. Well, I'm originally from my mother. After that, it was Brooklyn, Queens, and then there's no escape from the Long Island when the tsunami comes. So wax up your surfboards. But then I found the guy I grew up with. It was into sci-fi, and he said, "Hey, you got to come down to this radio show." And there was the one and only Mark Torres, and they had the show, and I'm sitting there listening to it, and it was amazing, but there was everybody was so serious. So yes, everybody was so serious. So I was asked to join about a couple of weeks later, and I decided just to throw in the laughs and stuff like that, just when these guys were talking really serious, and they would turn to me and say, Charlie, what do you think? And I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. This is, and yeah, and we went on from there. And I actually got Mark to laugh a couple of times, which was great. So now he's been laughing and everything. And that's about it. I was talking to you, Leslie, about the paranormal stuff.
I don't know why this applause is going on, but keep talking.
Yeah, it's I don't know, but it's like I was talking to you about the paranormal stuff, and something happened tonight at work, and I says, "Oh, this is I gotta go."
What happened? Tell us.
I will tell you. Well, we have this. Everything's on sensor, and our cameras. And I work for a school district, and everything's on sensor. And this one camera keeps going on, and I'm like, So I switched on to the camera, and again I saw a dark shadow just passing through it.
Ooh.
And then we have one school, that same school. The police keep getting a 911 call from it. And lucky me, I have to go in and go to the area where the 911 call is
my
going.
God.
And there's nothing there. There's nothing there as
Freaky.
Yeah. Well, you have to be in the building alone going towards that. It's very nice. And I'm in the best business, the horror movie business. And so you know what I'm thinking all the way up there. I'm glad I wore my Depends, No.
Senior correspondent Charlie Saladino, why don't you share the other ghost story in the studio, since you're talking about ghosts, if we have time?
So,
yes, tell us.
do we have time for this? Yeah, well, we worked at our original studio was WGBB in West Babylon, and it was a house. It was a two-family house, and they converted it. So one day, I guess they were having problems with the bathroom and the electricity in the bathroom. So the lights were out. So now I had to go to the bathroom, and now I have to judge the minute I close the door where everything is. So I have the door open, and I'm getting the lay of the land. And I said, all right, the bowl's over here. All right, I'm good. I shut the door, and I go in, and I'm doing my business, and I look next to me.
I've been there, man.
Yeah. I look next to me, and there is a full figure floating. It's a figure. It was a black shadow and it's like hovering there. Meanwhile, the ice is going up my spine, and I'm trying to be very cool about it and say, all right, don't show whatever this is that you're scared, which to me, that was hysterical because I was like, and of course, it was like I'm trying to figure out what is this, and I'm looking straight at it, and I'm looking at it trying to rationalize. I have no rationalization for what I'm seeing. So anyway, I finish, I run out, I open the door, and I check that whole area to see maybe, it was a mop with a coat on it, nothing. But it was nothing. It was, well, there was emptiness. Nothing was there. So I said to myself, don't say this to anybody because they're going to think you're crazy. So anyway, the next week, I said nothing to nobody. The next week, I am met at the door by one of our co-hosts, Herman, and he grabs me by the collar and he said, look, I'm going to tell you something. If you make fun of me, call you crazy, I'm going to kill you. I said, what's wrong? He says, I was in the bathroom. The lights are still out. I was in the bathroom. I'm standing there taking a leak, and there's this guy floating next to me.
Oh my
And
God.
he says, he's floating he's just floating there. He says, I didn't know what it was. It was just, I saw the figure, I saw the head, the face, and he was floating there. So I said, look, I'm not going to make fun of you. I saw that last week. I said, but Herman, I don't think we should say anything about this because I don't know. So he said, yeah, it's better. We walk in the studio. The first thing he says to the program director, what's the story with the ghost in the bathroom?
Great.
And without skipping a beat, the program director goes, oh, that's Charlie. Now I'm like, what? Wait a minute, what?
What?
That's Charlie. Yeah.
Nope.
He's just like, and I'm ready to give this company the big east because it's like second nature that this guy's there. So I said, wait, I said, you have to explain yourself. He says, no, we have a ghost here. I call it Charlie. It's in every time I put the papers up in the back, he just messes them up and there's no windows open and he runs around this end of the building. And the guy stays there at night with this, I wouldn't, but he does. And I said, well, who is this Charlie? And he says, well, the story goes he was a low-end gangster, racketeer guy, and he pissed somebody off. And the theory is he's in the cornerstone in the cement of this building and he can't get out.
So
and I'm like,
the bathroom while you're using the bathroom?
Yeah, well, the bathroom was completely dark, so I think that's why I saw it clearly because as what I understand, these spirits only make appearances in dark. Yeah, so I tell you, I made sure I went to the bathroom before I went to the studio. From then on, because that was something I can't explain, and if somebody told me it, I would be like, I don't know, but
is that studio still there, Charlie?
The building is still there, but they moved locations, so the radio station isn't there anymore.
The radio station, but the building is there.
Yes, the building is still there.
Yeah,
What's in the building now? What's in the building now?
It's just emptied out. There's nothing there.
It's like gutted. There's nothing in it except Charlie, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. But that was something. That was the first actual figure that I saw that I couldn't explain. The rest was just dark shadows passing.
When was this? When did you? How many years ago?
Mark?
I'm gonna say 8 years ago, maybe. Yeah, because Charlie started
recently.
Yeah, he's probably still there. If anybody has to go to the bathroom, don't turn on the lights. Don't turn on the lights, and he's probably hovering in the corner there.
Oh no, thank you.
No,
thank you.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is a good story. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that's absolutely the thing I can't explain. One of the things I can't explain. The dark shadows in the schools. Oh.
Oh, that
Mm.
you definitely have to capture that, Charlie. You have to capture that so that we can have you come on the show and show us your footage. You know, without naming where you're working specifically and stuff like that, making sure that
Yeah.
that's not out there because that'll be a whole different story. But we definitely want to have you all come back and talk about some more horror stuff and help us finish reading our script, but also talking about the things that unfortunately that you missed at the beginning, Charlie, that we were talking about horror
Oh
films that
my.
had radio in it. And so
Yeah.
because you all are coming in, so
Yeah.
we have to have you back. I guess we can invite you back next month so we can finish up our script of Dracula, have it a little bit more organized, and complete part 2. Will you all come back?
Of
Oh
course.
yeah.
Just say
Definitely.
when, and I won't get the dates mixed up this time.
Okay. 529. All right. Hey, I did it too one time. So just to think, Mark or Charlie, please tell us where we can find you. It Came From the Radio is on Facebook and Instagram, but go ahead.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. The easiest way, as our co-host Dominic Soprano says, just Google
Just
It Came
Google.
From the Radio, and it will pop up as usually the first one, and that's us. There's nobody else like it. Just look at my little image right there. That's me.
This
Funny,
image
it doesn't
right-
look like you.
This image right here.
Yep, that is us. Like I said, just Google It Came From the Radio. We're on 1 terrestrial radio station and 5 online stations and podcast places all over the place. We have a YouTube page. We have a live show that's coming up. We have one courtesy of the East Meadow Public Library. It's the second Wednesday of every month. The next one is going to be on May 12th. If you go to www.eastmeadow.info, you can register for that. And you can join us for a live show. We have an artist there. You can join in and be part of that.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, you can always follow us here on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock Central, and 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We are the Tingling Tea, a Cliff Dive production. We will be back next Thursday. And also, just a little shout out to Mayhem. Mayhem, where can we find you this week?
All over the place. This week in pop culture, The Take, and also the Last Stop on AL podcast. We're going to be doing a new episode. Shh, don't tell nobody.
What, this week on
Last Stop on AL. Yep.
No. The Mayhem and I work together on This Week in Pop Culture. It's on Sunday nights at 8 o'clock. It's part of Evolution Comics.
Yes.
So please go and subscribe. You all follow. Everybody support everybody who is on this show this evening. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us, even in this crazy epic night. We will continue this series of drunk horror. I guess we're going to call it. And take care. We'll be back next Thursday, same back time, same bat channel. We are the Tingling Tea, and we are out.